everyone, and welcome once again. I have the amazing Amanda Berlin today, who is a visibility and business consultant for entrepreneurs. She works with clients on holistic visibility to help them grow their business and impact on tactics employed during her 12 years in the corporate PR world, guiding strategy for major brands. Amanda and her clients have been featured in all types of media, from Business Insider to Entrepreneur on Fire, Fox 5. She's the host of the Empowered Publicity podcast and loves arming soul-powered business owners with the ideas and skill set they need to go from hidden industry gems to recognizable, trusted experts. And today, Amanda's going to be speaking to us about how to be more visible and become the go-to expert in your field, even if you don't think you're ready. And she's going to give us a guide to pitching the media and beyond. So welcome, Amanda.
Thank you, Sandra. So happy to be here.
So can you share with me a little bit, or with our audience rather, a little bit about your background as a PR person for all these major brands?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. I went to school in university for journalism where and when I emerged, I had this notion that I wanted to go into television. And I started out by working in celebrity publicity, by doing press junkets with some really recognizable stars. And as my career evolved, I went deeper into sort of the press arena and started working for PR agencies, some of the largest PR agencies in the world, and then also some of the more niche down boutique agencies. So I got this very well-rounded kind of education in what it takes to make brands visible and make them palatable and desirable to their audiences. And what my job was at the end of my PR corporate career was as editorial director of this small firm, where my job was to meet with our clients, get a sense of what the story was that they wanted to tell out there in the media. But oftentimes it was, kind of couched in lots of jargon or the things that seemed important to our client, that I knew as someone who had been the go-between for all of these years between brands and the media, that we needed to create a story, something that would appease or satisfy the media's need for good content with our clients' need to get their message out there. And that became what my job was to create a story that took our clients' messages, paired them with a spokesperson, and created a story that would be useful to the news media and thus to their audience. And I spent the better part of 12 years working with large brands in this context to get them media coverage. And then when I kind of graduated to entrepreneurship, or flew the coop, however, there are many different ways to look at that, I started to realize that this formula, taking a spokesperson and pairing it with a message and creating a story that the audience would be interested in, is actually exactly what all of us as solo entrepreneurs and small businesses need to do as well. And I realized that I had this unique skill set and this experience that I could teach people how to use the tactics that the big firms use to get their clients out there into the media and to make a splash and to get known. I could adapt those so that we could use them, because that whole machine wasn't really built for us small businesses and entrepreneurs. So what I do now is I teach my clients how to implement a pillared strategy of visibility to really authentically connect with more of the right people, to build trust and authority, and to bring in more of the right clients so that they improve their bottom line, all through free tactics. So there's a very particular distinction between PR and advertising. And what I teach, my clients do not have to spend a dime to get this visibility that we will work on. And they don't need to have a big team in order to implement it either.
Right. When we think about PR, right, public relations and visibility that way, I think that a lot of people, we've talked about this before. We talked about the whole Oprah thing, right, where people think of PR as being on something like Super Soul Sunday, or becoming like a visible thought leader to that level, and then doing big TV, right, like that. And I know that a lot of like coaches and experts dream of that, right? But can you share how the pillars of visibility you teach about help your clients grow their platform and to reach the thought leader status?
Yeah, absolutely. So, really, what most clients come to me because they are singing the refrain in their head that they are great at what they do, but not enough people know about them. I hear that all the time. I'm great at what I do. It's just that not enough people know about me. What I teach is a grassroots strategy for visibility that's going to, yes, elevate your platform, make more people aware of you, develop your thought leadership, and get you out there as a thought leader, as an expert in your space, but it's also going to get you more clients, which I think is the bottom line for a lot of people that are saying that to themselves, that I'm great at what I do, but not enough people know about me. I think there are some of us who simply want to get an idea out there, that simply want to change the paradigm. I work with entrepreneurs who I consider impact driven. And so I know that making a difference and changing the way that people think about things is part of this work. But I also know that so many of us are also saying that not enough people know about us because we know that our businesses could be making, on the operative word, could be making more money. So the fact is that the visibility that I teach takes you on kind of a journey from the most impactful type of visibility to bring in more clients to the most wide visibility that really confers upon you thought leader status. And so the three pillars of visibility that I teach start from sort of the most kind of like intimate, the most grassroots, to the most mass market. And so they are collaborations and alliances. And that's sort of like the innermost concentric circle of the system that I teach. So collaborations and alliances. So who are your strategic partners? Who are you aligned with? Who can introduce you directly to more of the right people? And then the second concentric circle is speaking and events. So where can you be seen on a stage? Where can you interact with your public? Where can you be giving them, higher level ideas, but still have that personal connection? And then how are you creating something that maybe you're putting yourself at the center of? So you sort of reap the benefit of being perceived as a thought leader because you've created this opportunity for people to come together. So hosting events is another part of that, creating your own stage. And then finally, the outermost concentric circle is media, which there's kind of a paradox when it comes to media, because you think like, okay, yeah, if I were on Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, or if I'm on the Drew Barrymore show, or if I'm on the Kelly Clarkson show, or whoever the television daytime personality of the moment is, then that's a windfall. Then automatically, like, I'm going to have this influx of clients. But the fact of the matter is, when you are dealing, like many of us are dealing with businesses that don't need a huge client base, but need people who are super engaged, and we need the right people to be investing in our services, then those mass opportunities are actually not drilling down into the niche of people who really want to pay for your services. Those are the people that need that very personal connection in order to be ready to invest with you.
Right, absolutely. So are you saying that, I think that this is pretty clear that you need to have that bottom line. You need to have the income coming in to generate and be a business, right? And be a successful business, and then get to the level of income that you would like. But are you saying that after that, when that's been established, is really when you should start looking at the bigger opportunities?
So there's no science to this. It's almost entirely art. So there's no hard and fast rule about the order of things. There are different tactics that work for different things that have a different effect on the business. Let's say that you're a coach who has like your stable of clients that feels really steady to you, and you're kind of ready to pursue that thought leader idea. One of the things that you need to be aware of is that there needs to be an element of news associated with what you're putting out out there if you're going to be pitching yourself to the media. So it is a great time to think about like, okay, if I'm going to be launching a book is like, it's a product, it's something that people will pay for, but it's a very low barrier for entry in terms of investment. So a book is a great thing to publicize on a mass media property. It's a great thing to offer if you are, or it's a great reason to be reaching out for media opportunities. And then there's also like a whole hierarchy of media. So some of the things that I talk about in terms of like the more intimate types of visibility, there are media that give you that feeling of intimacy between you and your audience, like podcasts, or even if it's a huge platform, but services a particular niche, it can create that personal connection between you and that audience as well. So there's lots of different variables that go into this. That's why my clients come to me, because there are so many different ways to go about achieving visibility. But I mean, we talked about my 12 years in corporate, but I've been doing this entrepreneurial work for 8-9 years now. So I have 20 years of experience figuring out visibility strategies, particularly for service-based and some product-based businesses, in order to get them the revenue that they want and connect them with more of the right clients, but also help them be out there with an idea. Because like I said, we all, I think behind what we're doing, we're doing this for a reason. It's not an easy road to choose to be an entrepreneur. I think we realized that maybe after the first or second year, we were like, oh, I guess I could go back to the cubicle if I wanted to, but but yeah, so like, I totally get that we want that greater visibility. I think we just need to calibrate how much effort we want to put toward that, and what it will, and also be aware of what it's actually going to bring to our businesses. Because I absolutely have clients who simply want that television credential because they know it's going to inspire credibility on behalf of their audience. And they're well aware that it's not necessarily going to drive the bottom line from, from like a cause and effect kind of situation. It's not like you don't appear on television and then you have this influx of clients. Recognizing that television or that higher, more recognizable media validates a brand is also a really important thing to recognize. And also, just recognizing the effort that needs to go in order to achieve that. And if your goal is to increase the bottom line, then that effort may not be where you want to put your attention. And that's what I help my clients calibrate, is like, where are we taking focused action to achieve the result that you want when it comes to your visibility?
Right. When you talk about creating awareness of your business, you talk about one of the most powerful visibility strategies that is often underutilized. Can you share what that is? I don't know if you already touched on that in the pillars.
Yeah, so I think that we often forget that we have a network of people who know us and in some cases love us already. And sometimes all it takes, this is where, when I work with people who are kind of just starting out, one of the things that, this is like, you cannot pass go until you do this kind of thing, is like, we need to tell our people around us what we are doing. There's so many people probably within arm's reach who are like, what do you do again? Like, right. Remind me. Like, I know you told me, but I don't really get it. So right. We need to figure out like how, and that's totally on us. So like, I have an aunt who I adore, and she's quite a bit older than me, and on the Facebook, she sees me like, going live or whatever. And she'll say like, I have no idea what you're doing, but you look fabulous. And that's my bad, right? That she doesn't know what I am doing, because who knows who she's talking to wherever she is at any given moment, who might be the right person for me to connect with. And so that's an underutilized resource, are the people around us. And I'm not saying you need to educate like your 80-year-old aunt about what you do, but there are people who are in your circles right now who probably are close to, if not the right fit to work with you. That's where collaborations and alliances, that very first pillar, really, that's the tip. That's like the starting point of that pillar is like, who do we already know? Who do we know that either is our ideal client or can introduce us to our ideal client who needs to know about what we do right now? And having a great way to describe what you do so that everyone gets it is also totally important, and something I work on with clients right off the bat as well.
The extended or, closer extended network piece, I find that especially with new service entrepreneurs, there's a little bit of a mindset shift that needs to happen. And sometimes there's some blocks around that, like visibility blocks, or what are people around me going to think? I don't want to bother people, right? So that's often there. Even though there may be people in their network that they can, that are their ideal client or can introduce them, that's often a barrier or block to doing so.
Absolutely. Yeah, there are so many. I mean, if you want to talk about mindset, and gremlins that come out, visibility is probably like the biggest category trigger for many of us. When it comes to putting ourselves out there. I understand that. And I work with my clients, and when I give talks, I always talk about the mindset for visibility, because we can tell ourselves so many stories about, those people, they don't care, or they already know, or no one really cares what I have to say, or no one's listening, or they're going to criticize me, or they're sick of hearing from me, or they already know someone who does this. I've heard and probably said all of these things to myself as well. And the fact of the matter is that there's two things that I want anyone listening to this to walk away from when it comes to mindset. The first is that people want to help you. We're just helpful by nature. If you approach it the right way, there's probably many right ways, but if you approach it in a way that gives them something to do for you, so gives them an appropriate call to action, it's clear about what they can do to support you. And it's also like super clear, and your energy is really clean about sort of like, if you can help me, great. And if not, that's fine too. And we can still be friends, and we can, go about our lives like that. Those are some of the ways to engage someone's assistance, understanding that they probably do want to help. And then the second thing that I'll say is that, because most of the people who are drawn to what I do, and probably to what you do too, Sandra, are people who are impact driven, who want to make this world a better place in some way, shape, or form. I think we would all agree that we are willing to be a little bit uncomfortable, as we are when we put ourselves out there, if it means that we will reach more of the people who need us, have the impact that we want to have, and grow our businesses. Like, if our backs are against the wall, we are willing to do what it takes, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, I heard somebody say once, I don't know who it was, but it was kind of like the saying out there where you can't go from, don't try to go from zero to Oprah, right? There's a lot in between that. There's a lot in between that. And then first take care of your bottom line, right? And then worry about those bigger opportunities. Thank you so much, Amanda.
It's my pleasure.
Wonderful to chat with. You give so much. You're so generous with information. Can you share with everyone the free tool that you're going to be, offering to everyone, and the link as well?
Yes, absolutely. So it is amandaberlin.com/visibility. I'm just making sure that is that the one that I gave you? The 3 pillars to visibility, which actually is a deeper dive into what we talked about today. The 3 pillars of visibility that tells you exactly how to chart that journey to become more visible, to increase your bottom line, and to get that wider visibility, and what each of these different pillars of visibility can do for your business. So you make sure you're taking that right focused action, as opposed to kind of having that light bulb effect of like dimly, lighting the whole room. You're taking laser-like action. And so that's on amandaberlin.com/visibility. amandaberlin.com/visibility. And then if you want to really dig in and perfect your bio for when you are invited to do interviews and speaking engagements, I have a free offering that will give you the formula for writing the perfect 3-line media bio. And that's amandaberlin.com/perfect 3 line bio, perfect 3-line bio.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so
Yes,
much for sharing all of this.
absolutely. My pleasure.
And for sharing with everyone today. And would love to have you back sometime. And
Anytime.
I will see you guys later. Mwah. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.